My man's 8. What's up, buddy? How you doing today? Hello, everybody. Happy Wednesday night. What's today? The 3rd? Is today the 3rd? Let me check. Yes. Happy Wednesday the 3rd. How's it, Wednesday? Got a interesting stream for y'all tonight. Different. No games. Not tonight. Literally no games. Not like, no, we're not playing no games. Like, I am literally not going to play any games today. Today, I am going to do something that I've been wanting to do for some time, but never really got around to it. I am going to walk you through some gear today, specifically the Elgato Wave XLR Pro. I've always done my content around gear and tech as just recorded videos, but I figured alongside doing that, I may as well go live and add a bit of a interactive element to it all. So I figured, why not just go live now? And my mic audio is terribly low. Really, it's at like 40 dB. Well, almost non-existent. Is that right? Hang tight here. I think we can fix this here. Need to go to personnel. Let's do this over here real quick. Elgato Wave XLR Pro. I've always done my content around gear and tech. Can't confirm. As just okay, guys, recorded videos. I got you. But I figured, thanks for letting me know. Alongside doing that, I may as well go live and add a bit of a how about now element to it all. We are at 41 dB. I'll keep going until you guys tell me we're good. It should sound a little better, but I can go up louder. I can't monitor and speak at the same time. It'll trip me up very easily. Another 20. Jesus Christ. Look, we're going to go to 50. Like, that's already way too much. I can hear it very loudly here. But then when I'm listening to it on the browser on my end over here, which obviously is not all. So I figured why very easily. Yeah, it sounds clear 20. For me. Jesus Christ. It sounds clear. I mean, I don't know. You guys tell me. I can't go much louder. I'm using Meld since it has multi-streaming already built into it. But let me check. It's not like loadout, like download and Wavelink for some reason. No, it's at 100% there. Double check that. Compressor, no. Ducking's off for now. And then one more thing. Does it work with Stream PC and console? Yes, it does. All right, so we're just gonna roll. What's up, Pigtown, my boy? How you doing? All right, here's the deal. We're gonna do some structured approach to this because there's a lot that we can cover, and I want to make it easy to digest for everybody. So I'm gonna walk you through the Wave XLR Pro itself. Show you how I set it up. Now, the setup is specifically for my setup, right? Which my setup is one PC, one console being the PS5 Pro. And then we'll answer some questions. So I'll answer questions that have been frequently asked in the comments on my review and my setup guide. And then I'll open the floor to all of you to also ask your questions here. Guns Lozano, what's up, dude? Great name. My beacon mic does a similar thing. The software shows that it's at a perfect dB for speaking, but in OBS it barely hits 25 dB. It's strange. It really is strange. I'm not sure why that's the case. Can you guys at least somewhat hear me? Pigtown, does this USB-C port allow a phone to plug in? Yes, you can plug in your phone via the USB aux port. Here, let me go ahead and stop the music. And we can just get rolling. All right, cool. So thank y'all for hopping in today. Really appreciate y'all. As I was saying at the beginning, this is the first time I've done a stream like this. Prior to this, anytime I ever did stream, I was primarily playing a video game. and saving this type of content for pre-recorded videos on YouTube, but I figured why not actually just include y'all into the mix. So let's start with Wave XLR Pro. Like, what the hell is it? What does it even mean, right? So I've been an Elgato partner. So let's start with that, actually. Let's start with the transparency portion of this. I'm an Elgato partner. This is my second year in a row now. And I did get the Elgato Wave XLR for free for the purposes of making content on it. That being said, this stream is not a sponsored stream. I'm doing this literally because it was an idea that I had and I just want to do it, okay? So a few months back, we were pulled into a meeting and they showed us some of the stuff that's coming out, and I got to see the Wave XLR Pro. And one day I came home and had a box in my front yard, opened it up, got in here, and it was the Wave XLR Pro. All right. I kid you not. The moment that I unboxed this thing, I replaced my Wave XLR Mark II with the Wave XLR Pro and called it a day, right? I've had a couple of weeks to use it, and my experience comes solely from my use case. There's a lot of things that you can possibly still do with this thing that I haven't quite figured out or tried, and some things that I've never even thought to try, but I have, thanks to some of the questions that a lot of you have been asking. So when you get the box, at the front of the box, it's going to say something along the lines of an integrated audio matrix. And I'll be super honest. I saw that. I'm like, well, I have no idea what this means. Would it work for music production? I'll come back to that. Like the long and short of it now is that you can't directly plug in an instrument into this at all, right? There's workarounds, but you know, for now, let's just say that you're going to mostly get vocal work out of it, and that's about it. So it says integrated audio matrix at the front of the box. And when I saw that, I didn't really quite understand what that meant. And as I started using it and I started setting it up, it started to become a lot clearer, right? So for the sake of simplicity, I like to think of it as an audio hub, right? You can, of course, you can connect your microphone to the Wave XLR Pro. You want to connect some headphones or some headsets, you can also do that. And you can even connect your speakers if you wanted to. Now, there's more to it than that, but I think of it as an audio hub because you basically can connect just about every piece of audio gear that you have in your setup to this one little device. When I first saw this thing and learned how much I/O was coming packed into it all, I expected it to be much, much larger. But funnily enough, it's actually quite small. It's about 7 inches or so in length, I believe it is. And then as far as the depth itself is concerned, it's just shy of 4 inches. And at its highest point, it's like 1.5 inches. And that's about it. It doesn't take up a whole lot of space at all. So can I switch back and forth from Discord on my PC and game chat on my PS5? You can do both simultaneously at the same exact time, right? So lots of I/O, very small form factor, very small package. You know, I know we're not buying audio interfaces because of how they look, right? Like we're buying them for the functionality that we can get out of them. And it's just nice though that it is a smaller device that doesn't take up a lot of space, and it does look elegant. Like if you're going to sit here and stare at your setup for hours on end, dude, anytime, Guns, my pleasure. Thanks for coming by. And if you hang out, thanks for hanging out. If I've answered everything for you, then you have a wonderful day if you're heading out too. This year for me, let me show y'all something. This year for me has been like the year of like downsizing my setup. I did a video on that whole process at the beginning of the year, but as of like half an hour ago, this is my setup right now, right? You can't even see it, or you can barely see the Wave XLR Pro. It's under the right-hand side, the right-hand corner of my 32-inch OLED 4K monitor right there. It's tiny, right? On the left-hand side is my 4KX, and then, of course, you got the Stream Deck Plus XL right there, front and center. It's small. It's very tiny, and it has a lot to offer. Barney, what's up, my man? How are you? How do I change the Wavelink 3.0 from headset out to Realtek speaker without using Stream Deck? Thank you, Barney. I will 1000% address that. Very cool. So let's talk about the I/O, because I think that's where at least I started to understand. Hey, Kilobyte, welcome aboard. How are you? Thanks for stopping by. with the IO is where I started to understand the beginning of the integrated audio matrix, right? So at the very front, we have the first headphone port, right? And the really cool thing here is that you can connect a headphone either with a 3.5 millimeter connection or a 1/4 inch connection. And we have a second port for another headphone on the back. Same exact thing. You can connect with a 3.5 or a 1/4 inch connection and call it a day. So in the event that maybe you are a podcaster and you have a guest and you both want to have your own headphones on, you're covered. In the event that you are a streamer and you have a friend or your partner streaming with you, you're covered as far as audio is concerned, and meaning what you're taking in and what you're listening to. Now, if you'll notice, I'm rocking my Bear Dynamic DT770 Pros. These are the 80 ohm versions, so they're not super crazy, but the headphone ports can support headphones with up to 600 ohms of impedance. I'm running, what am I running? I'm running, Jesus Christ, 9070 XT. Is it set to AV1? It shouldn't be set to AV1. For Twitch, it should not be. But you're coming in from YouTube, so it might be set to AV1 for that. Does it look weird? We're figuring out the jank as we go. But anyway, so if you have like really, really nice audiophile grade headphones, then you're fine. Up to 600 ohms of impedance, you're going to be great. And I'll tell you this, I've had these now for, I want to say like 2.5 years. And I've used them directly connected to my motherboard. I've used them directly connected to the Wave XLR, the Wave XLR Mark II, to the back of the Wave 3 and the Wave 3 Mark II. And I've always got decent sound out of them, like good enough to where I had no complaints. I didn't realize that they weren't still being properly driven because these things sound exceptionally more powerful now connected to the Wave XLR Pro. The 9070 XT can do AV1, hardware AV1. Yes, it can. My L3090 can't. Oh man, what? I tried those and not like them for live game streaming. The DT770s, they do get a little hot, Barney. That's for sure. And especially me living here in the South, it's already hot to begin with. I'm hot right now. It's just hot, always. Go by sick. Welcome aboard, by the way. So audiophile headsets, you're covered. You're going to sound great. You're going to get a really good audio experience out of this, right? I am literally running a pizza oven. I have so many lights on. It's not even funny, dude. Like, I need to get like a window unit AC for this one room alone so I can at least be cool. Very nice. Hell yeah. Welcome aboard, dude. Absolutely. It's superb. Would you say you need decent headphones such as yours to hear your voice as how it sounds to others? Let me... Actually, screw that. We'll answer that now. I almost dropped the F-bomb. Okay. So the better headphones you have, the better quality, the more true to the source it'll sound, right? So when I use these and I'm like doing my sound check before going live right now, I think I have a better idea of what I actually sound like, as opposed to me using something like one of the many different gaming headsets I just have stuffed in my closet. Like, you'll probably get an idea of your level. I don't know if you're going to get like the actual detail in your voice, especially when you're doing things like equalization, compression, adding expanders, and all these other effects. The Audio-Technica, is it the M50s? Like, they're super cheap for like studio monitoring headsets, and they're really good from what I understand. They're just super uncomfortable. But yeah, and to go by 6 point here, every device does sound different. So if we continue with the IO, we're going to go to the back, and you're going to find that we have two different XLR inputs. All right. Now, these two inputs are really solid, and that's what you're listening to right now. I'm running the Elgato Wave DX directly into the first input here on the Wave XLR Pro. And the great thing here with these things is that they can drive up to 80 decibels of gain. So anybody out there who is using something like a Shure SM7B, Electro Voice RE20, any gain-hungry dynamic microphone, you're going to be fine. You do not need a cloud lifter with this device. You don't need one. You do not have to have one, okay? And let me squash something or give you a little bit of a tip right now. Back in the gap a couple years back, if you didn't use one and you cranked the gain up on your interface, it would introduce noise into the signal. That's for sure. That's a fact, right? But what I found, because it happened to me, is that if you used something like, say, right now, Elgato has voice focus. If you use voice focus or any sort of noise reduction VST, for some reason or other, it would always like cancel out that noise and remove it. I don't know the science behind that and how that exactly works, but it would work. So even if you don't have a fancy schmancy interface and you're driving that gain all the way up and you're introducing noise, if you use something like voice focus, noise reducer, it should clean that noise out to where you don't have to go spend an additional $150 on something that you don't necessarily need. You got to stay at 55 dB in Beacon Studio. Yeah. And it's y'all were telling me to drive this up by another 20 dB, and I'm just like, oh my God, I'm going to blow y'all's eardrums out. This is crazy. Here's a tip when hooking up my XLR Pro for a 2PC setup. It auto-activated was focused for the USB. Yes. Thank you, Barney. That's an excellent point. Please hold on to that when we get to that part, because that is very, very true and something I had noted down to talk about. But I appreciate you chiming in, buddy. And if y'all have any questions, things you want to add to the conversation, this is two-way, right? It's me and you. It's not just me. When it's just me, I do YouTube videos for that. So we're here to talk. All right, cool. So 2 phenomenal XLR inputs in the back, right? That means you get 2 microphones. It can be condenser and dynamic. It can be condenser, dynamic. It doesn't really matter. The other thing that you can do, let me see if I can find it. Oh, it's connected to the back. Hold up. Let me show y'all something. I'm going to probably like destroy this thing right now. All right, never mind. This right here, I don't think it's going to, there it is. This is an XLR male end, 3.5 millimeter female end right here. Okay. I have that connected, or had connected, to the XLR port number 2. Wait, the meaning of life is 42. So I have that port, this adapter connected to XLR port number 2. I also have you guys might recognize this. Is it going to zoom? There we go. Focused. Hollyland Lark M2. All right, little wireless lav mic system. The receiver has a 3.5 millimeter port on the side. So you take the 3.5 cable that it comes included, you plug it into the receiver, and you plug the other end into the adapter. And if I plug this into port number 2, XLR port number 2, I now have a wireless lav mic system connected to Wave XLR Pro that I can also add in all of the effects I'm going to show you here in just a moment. So just some cool little ways that you can get a little more versatility out of it all, right? Besides the XLR inputs, we also have the line in and the line out ports. Now, this is where I thought I was going to have a lot of fun, because I was already thinking of devious ways of using these ports to better serve you. And I'll tell you what this were. The line out port is very simple. Right now, for my case, I have my Edifier R1280T speakers connected to that. And just like the headphone ports, I have incredible sound coming out of these speakers. Even when I compare it to what it was before, connected directly to my PC's motherboard, I thought I was getting the most out of it. These things sound scarily loud and powerful now. Well, it's line level signals too. The line out and line in ports drive or deliver and accept line level signals. So they're way more powerful signals, which is why with these speakers not connected there, I am getting some ridiculously powerful sound. Does the multiple breaks in connection for that little mic cause you static? It has not. It has not caused me static yet, but I will tell you something that did cause me static since we're in the line in and line out ports here. So with the Wave XLR Mark II, one thing that I was able to successfully do was connect a TRS, which is basically this guy, right? So I don't know if y'all are aware, and I'm going to pretend that you don't know, so forgive me if I'm like mansplaining. It's with good intentions. But a TRS cable, it stands for tip ring sleeve. So the very top is the tip, The center section here is the ring, and the bottom shaft here is the sleeve. All right. This tip ring sleeve cable, I had a longer one. I connected that to the headphone port of the Wave XLR Mark II, and I connected the opposite end into the mic port of my Canon R50V. I was able to basically connect the microphone, the Wave DX, to the Wave XLR, and add the mic audio directly into my camera and record it directly to my camera, which is great, right? And because the Wave XLR Mark II has an onboard DSP, just like the Wave XLR Pro does, all of the hardware effects were included in the signal, including low cut filter, my EQ, and my expander, right? And all that simply does is that it makes it a lot easier to work with in post. Instead of syncing audio, it's already synced because it's all recorded together. So when I saw that this Wave XLR Pro had a line out port, I'm like, oh man, I think I can do the same exact thing, but I can't because it's a line level signal. It is incredibly powerful. From what someone described it to me as, it's like, I'm not sure if they were exaggerating, but this is what they told me. They said it was 1,000 times more powerful than a mic signal. So when I tried connecting the line out port directly into the camera, it did introduce a crap ton of static and distortion and an electrical buzz. I bought a line level to mic attenuator cable. It's like $20. And that improved the issue a lot, but I still had the electrical buzz going on. And ultimately, if I add in a ground loop isolator, I could get it to work. But I didn't want to do all of that because I don't think everybody wants to go through the steps of adding in all these cables to get it to work directly to your camera. But if you want to, it's possible, right? So line out port, that's where I got my speakers. And the line in port, in my specific setup, I'm not using it right now. But there's a way you can use it that I think would be very beneficial to many of you out there that I'll cover here after this next section, the USB ports. Now, this is where all of the magic happens, right? So USB host and USB aux is what we got. USB host is the port that you're going to connect your main PC to XLR Pro, right? So if you are in a dual PC setup, your streaming PC gets connected via USB host. If you are in a single PC and console setup, like I am, your PC, your one and only PC, will be connected via USB host, right? And if you are just on one PC and nothing else, once again, USB host. Now, your gaming PC in a dual PC setup gets connected to the USB aux port. And just a quick reminder, USB aux, right? So your gaming PC goes to USB aux. If you're on a single PC and console setup, your console will go to USB aux. And in my specific case, I've got my PS5 Pro connected to USB aux and my PC to USB host. But suppose that maybe you have a dual PC setup. So you got a streaming PC, a gaming PC, and a console, and you have all three. How do you connect all three devices to the XLR Pro in one go? Well, that's where the line in port comes into play. Your streaming PC will be connected via USB host. Your console will be connected via USB aux, and your gaming PC will be connected via the line in port from the line out port of your gaming PC's motherboard. Now, I don't have a dual PC setup anymore. I took that second PC of mine, ripped it apart, and sold it for parts. So I might just have to build another one and do that video because I just all of a sudden decided I want to start building PCs. And that's very expensive, and it's a horrible time to do so. I wish someone would come up with a piece of equipment that has all the bells and whistles, but something like that would jump to 2Gs real quickly. Real quick, go by. I'm going to call you Sick. I'm going to call you Sick, all right? Sick. What are all the bells and whistles, in your opinion? While you do that, I'll keep going, okay? So you can connect all three, hypothetically, in here, right? So with looking at the I/O, you can start to see the beginning of the integrated audio matrix. What is up, my man? Night Owl, how are y'all? Hey, listen, chat. I am a very firm believer of like giving kudos and props to other creators. I'm not one to like, don't, share other people's successes. That's whack. That's a horrible mindset. Y'all need to go check out my boy, Night Owl, AJ Sarsfield. He is a phenomenal content creator. Also a fellow Legato partner, but seriously, like I say, and I don't proclaim myself as like an audio genius, right? But this guy has phenomenal audio, amazing videos. I don't ever want to be the single source of truth for anybody, so please consume as much content as you can on these things, and I highly recommend y'all give him a follow. He's amazing. He's amazing. He also told me that when I go to England, he'll hook me up with some Manchester United tickets. So thanks, man. Thanks in advance. Appreciate you. But what's up, man? Welcome aboard. So listen, here's what we're going to do. So the I/O part is the beginning, right? That's when I started to understand, okay, the integrated audio matrix part is just like the beginning of that is how much stuff we can actually physically connect to this one tiny and powerful device, right? The other half of that is going to be Wavelink 3.0. And that's what we're going to jump into next. But before we do that, on the hardware connections or anything like that, does anybody have any questions? I'll open the floor up for y'all right now. One day I'm going to get a temperature reading of my room with all these lights on. And we're going to take bets on what it is in here. I think it's probably in like the 90s right now, 80s, mid 80s, low 90s. That's my best bet. So, anywho, okay. So you plugged in your Wave XLR Pro, right? Congratulations. You got through the hard part. When you launch Wavelink 3.0, let me backtrack. If you haven't installed it, you need to install that, right? Go to Elgato's website or just Google Wavelink 3.0 and download it and install it. When you plug in Wave XLR Pro, 99% of the time, you're going to be greeted by a setup tour. And this is what it looks like. And this little tour is very nifty because all it's basically going to do is going to introduce you to Wave XLR Pro, all of the inputs, right? And what it can do. And it's going to help you set up a couple of things along the way too. So if we hit get started, it's going to tell you, okay, hey, we have headphone channel 1, 3.5 or 6.3, USB aux, so forth and so on. And where you have devices connected, it's going to tell you, hey, headphone port number 2 is connected and good to go. 2 XLR inputs onboard processing for mic and audio channels. Wish I could compress the audio channel outside of OBS. A line that you can adjust headphone power. All voice changing stuff. Dude, if I'm not crazy, and I am crazy, if I'm not mistaken, like the Wave XLR Pro for sure has onboard processing. Now I think it's like 5 to 6 effects max, and we'll cover that here in just a minute. You can add processing to the different channels. I'll show you that too. You can compress the audio channel outside of OBS. I don't know if we can add compression to the channels, but you can definitely add compression at the hardware level to the microphones. I know I'm in the UK, but filming in my office has been awful. Oh my God. Oh, dude, I've heard about that. Yes, you guys are going through some heat right now. That's horrible. That sucks, man. I'm sorry. Stay hydrated, dude. That's super important. All the controls on one device also, not like Beacon where I have to buy 2 devices. Yeah, I hear ya. That's actually very, very common, like, I don't want to say complaint because I feel like that's a little dismissive, but it's a very common critique. Texas Wolverines. I'm assuming Texas, TX is for Texas. What's up, Wolverines? Welcome aboard, dude. But that's a very common critique that I've seen in my content and others is that the Wave XLR Pro doesn't come with like faders, for example, or buttons. I think there's a very, very, very legitimate and easy explanation for that. And I'll get to that here in just a moment. You have to buy 2 with the Wave XLR Pro. It's just a lot of people. Yes, Barney, thank you. That is exactly right. It's because you got to understand like how many people are content creators. How many content creators do you think own a Stream Deck to some of sorts, from the Mini, the regular one, the XL, to Stream Deck Plus to the Stream Deck Plus XL? Like that is a gargantuan market share, right? That population of content creators that have a Stream Deck is like ridiculous, dude, right? So my logical like approach to that critique, which is very valid, right? I get that because like we're used to seeing audio interfaces historically coming out with faders and buttons and pads, etc. When you already have a device that dominates the space, right? It almost makes no sense to add those buttons and features onto this piece of hardware because everyone already has it. And this might sound like a silly argument to some, not argument, but like a silly point. You know, those things cost money, right? Like adding sliders, faders, knobs, buttons, pads, all of that costs money to produce, and all of that drives prices up. So when you already have one of the most literally popular devices for any content creator of all shapes and sizes, you kind of get to not spend the money on that and instead spend it on the things that will actually matter a little more, right? Like I have the Wave XLR Plus in front of me, and I have the Stream Deck Plus XL. I've got 6 dials. I can control all of my audio right now based off of what's connected to Wave XLR Pro with ease. So I feel your pain. I totally understand where you're coming from with that. But at the same time, it's like, I think from their perspective, there was no need because that need was already met through a whole different device. My beacon videos, yeah. So it's funny, it's your beacon videos that made my mind. I love it. I just wish I made it into one piece and not two. Yeah. Also, someone else was talking about this in a video, and what I basically also said is that I think the more stuff you add to a piece of hardware, the more points of failure are introduced. So probably rare, but like imagine a situation where your faders die or stop working or physically break. You can't like replace that one little thing. You have to basically replace the whole unit. So in this instance, if your Stream Deck dies, you can replace your Stream Deck, but your audio integrated matrix is still good to go and fine, right? Then you gotta throw out the whole, exactly. Here, you don't have to do that, right? Anyway, okay, let me not stay off track, but excellent. Thank you so much for that. So you'll get the setup tour. It'll walk you through on how to properly set up your microphone. It's incredibly user-friendly. It's very, very welcoming to people who don't really know what they're doing just yet, down to like getting that set up and also adjusting your gain. This is still one of the trickier things, even for me. Like, I will adjust my gain prior to the stream down to like, I think I was at 36 dB. I sounded fine to myself, but you guys were telling me I was too quiet, so I had to crank it up. It's very, very tricky to do so, right? You can do your auto gain here, right? So if you hit start, you're going to read this paragraph in about 10 seconds, and then it's going to automatically adjust your gain based off of what you were, how loud you were or were not when speaking into your microphone. And then the last thing it's going to walk you through is your monitoring, right? So, setting up your headphones and the volumes for that, and then adding your mic into your personal mix so you can self-monitor as you use it. Cool. So that's all said and done. And now we go over here. So at this point, we are now in the bread and butter meat and potatoes of Wavelink 3.0 and Wave XLR Pro. It's going to automatically add in these 4 channels, right? So every column is a mix. This is the audio, the groupings of audio that are being sent out to different things. And every row is a channel. These are your individual audio sources that are being added into these mixes to then send out somewhere, right? So for example, my personal mix is what I hear. Stream mix is what you hear. My recording mix is what I would have when I'm recording gameplay footage in OBS, right? It's just going to be my microphone, the game from my PC or my PS5. Chat mix is what I would use to send out my mic audio to Discord, Zoom, Microsoft Teams, whatever applications that require just your voice. And then aux mix, we'll come back to that in just a moment. All right, very well. So you have your different channels here. Let's pretend for just a moment that you want to add a channel in and you don't know how. Well, I don't have a channel for Discord, for example. Do you put your mic on your audience mix? Yes, it's right here. Boom. Right? So, for example, right, if I don't have a Discord channel, I can go to create channel. Elgato has like a very generic voice chat channel that we can create. I'm going to hit the blue pencil. And then I'm going to add an app. And let's just say Discord right here. Boom. All right. Right now, the only thing I have here is Discord in this voice chat. And let's pretend I do want to add my microphone to it. Well, I have chat mix right here, and we have this voice chat over here. So I could say, if I want to hear Discord audio, I could add it here so I can personally hear it. If I want you to hear my Discord chat, I can press plus right there. if I wanted to add it into my recordings when I'm recording gameplay, let's pretend I'm playing, I don't know, Arc Raiders with my pals. I could probably press that, but that would probably get me banned because they're crazy. So we're going to leave that there, so forth and so on. Do you put your mic on your audience mix or separate it? I put it all in together. So it's in my stream mix, which is what you're hearing now. I've got my microphone, my PS5 audio, my Windows audio, PC game audio, music, browser, and voice chat. So Discord. It's all mixed in. I've tried. I've done it all the ways. Everything separate. It's really just a matter of preference, to be honest with you, right? So you added in your channels. You've got your mixes. Let's pretend that we don't have a chat mix. I'm going to go ahead and delete this, right? I don't have a chat mix, and I need chat mix in order to send my mic audio to Discord. So I'm going to hit plus. And because I like being very organized, I'm just going to rename it chat mix, call it a day, close that. And I'm going to take my Wave DX, which is my microphone right now, connected to Wave XLR Pro, and add it to chat mix. So in Discord, when I'm setting my microphone, I'm not setting it as Wave DX. I'm setting it as chat mix. This is why I wish I could put compression on my audio channels outside of OBS. Because if I put my mic on my audience mix, it's already compressed. Then adding another compression kind of compress. Compression on my channels. Okay, so let's see this. This is the effects icon. There's an effect icon here for game. Can I? Well, if you download the software compressor, you technically or hypothetically could do that. I don't think you want to compress your game audio. Maybe you do. Compression my audio channels outside of OBS, but you can. Like if you have a software compressor, dude, as a matter of fact, why not just try that now? Let's do this. We're live, right? Let's do it. Oh, good God. 1 second. My email is like literally public, so I don't care. This is the Elgato Marketplace. I'm going to search compressor. Elgato compressor. We're going to get it. Dude, why are you making me log in again? That's just crazy. Okay, try it again. Bro, what? Is my caps lock on? Probably. It is there. Try this again. Okay, I don't know what's happening here, but yes, I believe if you get the software compressor, you can add it in here because it looks like you're going to get to add the software VST. So for example, Night Owl is a big fan of the Loudmax 64 limiter. That's a software VST. I have it installed on the computer and I can add that into my game channel if I want to, for example. Some games have low lows. Yes. Yes, they do. God. Yeah. So in that case, dude, actually that makes a lot of sense. I might give that a shot one day. That's a good idea. But yeah, if you get the software compressor, you can add the compression to the channel itself. Now, keep in mind, like the way I have things grouped here is I have a game generic channel. And within game, I have all of the games here that I'm playing currently. So the only downside to doing that in Wavelink at the moment is it adds a tiny delay because a channel affects our process via software, not hardware. Excellent point. Excellent point. Thanks, man. That's a really good bring up. That's very true. The SNC. Okay. Let's see. The SNC were switched. Compressor. Dude. I can't type to save my life, apparently, y'all. There we go. Open in Wavelink. Jesus Christ, that was loud. Damn near blew my eardrums out. So let's go to the game channel, go to the effects icon over here. And boom, yeah, I can add the compressor in. Boom. So yeah, but AJ makes a great point. It will add some latency, some delay. It's not a whole lot based off of what I've experienced when using both hardware and software effects on my mic. But yeah, you can add the compressor here. So if you're playing single player, it's probably not going to be that big of a deal. That's sick, no pun. Hell yeah. All right. Sanity check. We've added channels, we've added mixes. I'm not going to go through like an entire Wavelink tutorial, but you get the gist of it, right? You add a channel here, you create your mixes, and then you can just plug everything in where you want it, right? Pretty simple, pretty straightforward. The Wave XLR Pro is going to automatically add in these 4. All right, so the first 2 are your mics, or at least I have them set up that way. You can rename them to whatever you want. So again, I'm crazy. I have it named the actual mic itself, Wave DX. You click on the blue pencil, or you click on this icon here, or you go to your microphone here, and you can start messing around with the effects. So on the input side, you can adjust your gain if you want to adjust it post auto gain. You can gain lock. Highly recommend you do that. That stops Windows from messing your levels up. You can add 48 volts of phantom power. You can add an inline boost compatibility. This is only to be used if you're using a cloud lifter, vet head, some sort of a signal booster. Again, I'm not here to tell you how to live your life. If you want to use that, it's fine. Obviously, it's your prerogative. You don't have to. That's it. You don't have to do that. Like, this is powerful enough to drive any of the high-end microphones that require a lot of gain without the need for one. But if you do add one into the chain, you do need to turn this on. The reason being is that sometimes when you have a cloud lifter in the whole mix or a signal booster, it can not play nice with like the signal itself and add in some noise. So it keeps the XLR input active when an inline booster is in your signal chain. And so it just cleans it up for you a bit. And then there's clip guard. Right now, if my children weren't asleep and if the house was empty, I would scream into this microphone. And with clip guard being on, it wouldn't clip. Yeah, absolutely. And that's not to say that because you have a Stream Deck Plus, right? Like, it's worth the XLR. The Wave XLR being worth it is a very independent yes over this. They just, it's like peanut butter and jelly, right? Like, having the dials to control your volume levels is amazing. I've tried doing that with the original Stream Deck. I have it somewhere, and just pushing buttons. It's like such a privileged thing to say, but pushing buttons to increase or decrease volume just never felt right to me. But having the dials, absolutely, absolutely. If you get the XLR Pro and you already have a Stream Deck Plus and you got the dials, it's just going to feel so seamless for you. Yo, my boy Heavy, what's up, man? Old Jameson. Jameson, can you specify a little more what settings you're like? I'll walk through the mic portion here. I get a little scared when we talk about settings for other people because our voices are very different, right? So make a video on it, brother. You got it. Just because you call me brother, that's exactly why I'm gonna do it. But let's take that chance now. So these are the input settings that you can adjust, right? We'll hop into FX, and this is now we get to start playing around with our microphone and the sound that we get out of it. You're going to see that it's broken up into 2 different sections. You got the hardware effects and you have the software effects underneath that. Anything that you add in on the hardware side gets managed and executed on the Wave XLR Pro itself outside of software. As a result, if you monitor that, you're going to get your effects into your monitor signal and what you're hearing from yourself as you speak, and with 0 latency. So there's not going to be any delay, right? If you add in software effects because of how Wave FX and VST insert works, right? So I should have added this asset into the rigmarole. That's okay. You've got your interface, your mic signal leaves it, right? And this is a case where you have both hardware and software effects. You have your interface, the mic signal leaves it, it goes into Wavelink. Wavelink adds in the VST software effects. It sends it out back to the interface. And at the interface, the software effects and the hardware effects basically merge And what they call this VST insert. They basically merge into one signal, and that goes out directly to whatever program you're using your microphone on. This eliminates the need for a virtual microphone, for example, which introduces a lot of latency. When you do add in the hardware and software effects, you're going to get some latency, but nowhere near as much as it was before Wave FX and before VST insert, right? In my personal case, someone made a post on Reddit saying the Wave XLR won't produce audio without the app open. I am so sorry. It's radio. I'm not trying to like be semantic with you. Are they specifically talking about the Wave XLR Pro? I'm going to assume that's what they're talking about. We can test that right now. If that is the case, I want to say the Wave XLR Mark II. I don't honestly know because I've always have Wavelink open, but we can literally test that right now. So let's do that. I wanted to buy the big Stream Deck XL, but then I seen that they went 450. Good God. Hey, you from Canada? I've been to Toronto. Toronto's awesome. So instead of I bought an older giant iPad, that's genius. I'm not going to lie. Going with the iPad version of Stream Deck is actually genius. All right, radio. We're going to do it right now. I am at the risk of butchering my audio. I am going to close Wavelink out completely. And we're going to see if I still get audio. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Okay, so Wavelink is now closed. It's not open whatsoever. Can you still hear me? Yes or no? Voice focus is gone, I can tell. Yeah. Yeah, because the software, right? The software side of things is not open anymore, but you can still hear me, right? Okay, so now for me, let's do this. We can hear you, but I'm thinking headphones. No, I'm so glad you said that. Let's drag in. Yeah, no, you're right. I hit play. Hey, nothing coming here. Hang on. Wait a minute. Let me set my output here to my headphones. Is it here? Is it here? Browser, music. Let's go with music since that's the channel that the Spotify is tied to. Nope. Not at all. I might be doing something wrong. I thought I'd heard this was possible. Browser, system. But no, I think that's the case right now. Oh, dude. Untreated rooms. My room is hella untreated. Let me spare you and open up my Wavelink now. That's so funny. All right. Is it better now? Can you tell that my room is now magically treated with the click of a button, snap of a finger? Let me go back here and the hell? Oh, over here. Okay. You're going to go back to 80 and call it a day for now. Oh, right. Back. Okay, so next question. Does the app crash a lot from your experience? Thank you for testing that. My absolute pleasure, dude. That's why I'm here.
Thank you, guys! Thank you!
Oh, heavy with a sub, man. Thank you so much, bro. I appreciate you, man. You're the man. All right, full transparency. Look, I'm not going to BS it. I'm not going to skirt around the issue. When Wavelink 3.0 first launched, before full release, it would crash more than I would have wanted it to. I am on an alpha build right now, so please keep that in mind, okay? I haven't had a crash at all. And prior to being on this alpha build specifically for the Wave XLR Pro, I've been on whatever the most recent up-to-date version of it is. I haven't had a crash in quite some time, like at all. What has happened is in the middle of gathering footage for Wave XLR Pro, I had to disconnect it from my computer and from everything to put it on this desk over here and shoot some B-roll. Dude, whatchamacallit? And okay, I disconnected it. The computer was still on. Wavelink was open. I unplugged it. I plugged it all back in, and all of my routing and mixing right here had been reset. It was all gone. So for me, that's not like a huge bother, because like it's just part of the growing pains of doing content and just learning how to use things, right? But yeah, I mean, I can definitely see how that has happened and could annoy somebody. But it crashing has not happened to me in quite some time. Happened to Nutty. Nutty. Nutty's great. Yeah, no, it happens. It happens. And I'm not going to try and pretend like it never happens. That would be an idiotic thing for me to say or do. It just hasn't happened in a moment for me. I also want to add some context to that. Okay. Share a little bit about my life. Nothing crazy. I work in sales. I work in tech sales. All right. This might make some people upset. I hope not. I hope we can all be amicable here. But I work in a company that sells AI automation for finance for companies all around the globe. So, because of the nature of my work and the amount of traveling I do, I usually play or am at my computer for like an hour a day, if that. So take that do with that what you will. Like Nutty obviously does this way more than I do, which means that his chances of experiencing something like that are far greater than mine are. But for me, it hasn't happened as much, which is cool. But it has happened. It has happened, just not as much. Wait, just came in. How did it get reset? Yes, thank you. Sorry, says Tobas. So I unplugged it while my computer was on and while Wavelink was running. One of the partners had an issue similar to that. And I was like, hey, you know what? This happened to me. Wavelink was running. PC was on. Let me set everything up, shut the PC off, unplug it, plug it back in. It worked fine. So I did that with no PC being on. It worked fine. Nothing was lost. And then I did it with Wavelink turned off, like completely shut out and closed. And it was fine. I wish I would go back to Wavelink 2. It was, oh, dude, Kane, Z, we're going to disagree there. I think Wavelink 3.0 is so much better. I just think that, you know, it's been a like a little bit of a rocky experience for people. And so like, we want to like go back to what we were already familiar with. I totally understand that. But like, maybe unfair of me to say this, but if we just remove like the hiccups here and there, like objectively, I think this table is so much better than like the 7 columns we had. The X voltage. What's up, dude? Welcome aboard. What features, AJ? I'm so curious. I like picking at your brain, dude. What are the default settings in Windows for output input? Excellent question. Let me move this here for just a second so you can see. So if I go here, I right click here, I'll go to settings. You're not going to see that just yet. Oh, I actually ended up blocking you anyway. Let's move it back. I think this is what you're going to ask, but if I go to volume mixer.
Hello there.
Oh, dude, thank you for the follow. Nacian Gamer, thank you so much. Sometimes this will get set to the wrong channel. I don't know what that is. I've already let them know and they're looking to that, but I set system to output and the input's automatically set to my microphone. I never did this. This I never touched. So it's automatically set to my mic. And then I'll sometimes have to change this back and force it back to system. I think when I close to Wavelink, it changes it, but this always has stayed as mic, XLR Mic Pro, etc. Nacian, thank you so much. I appreciate you. Welcome aboard. Hell yeah. So let's see. Bob's Burgers. Order mine today. Can't wait for it to arrive. Hell yeah. In the old Wavelink, you can remove effects from your headphones, but keep them on your stream. Huh. That's actually pretty cool. I like that. Only Ducking can do that. You can't force that on sound. Hopefully they'll work on the audio cutting out when the app closes. Yeah. I'll bring that up to them. AJ, correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm like 99% sure I've heard that this would still work even with Wavelink closed, but I could be wrong. All right. Anywho, so let's go here. So anyways, sorry, y'all. Just I get lost in conversation. It's so much fun. Hardware effects, handled directly on a device, no latency when you monitor it. Add in software effects, handled by the software, mixed at the device level, introduces a little bit of latency, nowhere near as bad as it used to be. I have a full video on like the mic setup part of everything here with the Wave XLR Mark II, which is applicable here as well. And yeah, so ducking, we'll come back to that. All right, let me turn this bad boy on. So I have the PS5 Pro connected via the USB aux cable, and it'll automatically say USB aux here. Let's close this out for a minute. It'll say USB aux right here. Okay, guys, gals. And I just obviously hit the pencil, changed it. I like to see things named what they actually are. Let me do this for a moment. And we're going to go over here. You should hear my PS5. Yep, you sure can. Okay. So once you have it connected, what you're going to do is you're going to go to your settings. You're going to go to sound. And under audio output, you need to make sure that it's set to USB headset Elgato Wave XLR Pro USB aux. For the microphone, that's where things get a little tricky. All right. We're going to mute this for now, and we're going to come back over here. All right. See how I have this aux mix channel here? So the way that the USB aux port works is that it just acts as a bridge between Wave XLR Pro and whatever other device you're connected to it, be it a gaming PC and a 2PC setup or a console. Okay. You still have to tell Wavelink what sound to send out. Not in, but out, right? It's going to automatically take in the sound of whatever device is connected. You still have to tell it to send audio out. And this is specific to the microphone. Yes, you sure can. That's what I'm about to show you right now, right? Nacion. So Wave DX is my mic channel. I have the aux mix made over here, and I've added the Wave DX microphone to that, right? If I go to the pencil, all right, you're going to see here that I have USB out XLR Pro as an audio output, okay? You're telling, or I'm telling Wavelink to send anything in my aux mix out to the USB out port through the USB aux port, which is basically to the PS5. So I'm going to unmute that. We're going to head back over to the game, to the PS5. And then what we're going to do is we're going to go back to sound. Oh, all right. Microphone. Make sure it's set to USB headset, Elgato Wave XLR Pro, USB aux. And then I am going to get to microphone level here so you can hear it. I'm going to mute my mic on the Wave XLR Pro. Bam. Okay. And then, sorry, I think I messed that one up there. I muted the whole thing, which doesn't make sense. You should hear me now. There we go. I should have just muted the mic on the stream mix, not the whole thing. But look. There you go. Right? And you can tweak it. Right? It's so weird. Hang on. Y'all, I really can't stand monitoring myself and speaking at the same time. It's so crazy to me. It drives me insane. But yeah, you can,
You know what, guys? We're here. We're live. Let's freaking go. Let's do this. I need to know if this is taking hardware effects or not. So let's go here. And we're just going to toy around with the equalizer. I'm going to do a very dramatic EQ. Check 1, check 2. Check 1, check 2. Yeah, see? So it does. All the hardware effects that you have included in your mic chain, this sounds awful on purpose, by the way, do get routed out through and into your PS5. Well, do you have to have a good sound voice to be able to listen to yourself, dude? I've got that silky smooth voice, buddy. Bam. Now, because I don't want to drive myself any more crazy, let me back out.
There you go. You sound like an angel. Sick, I've never heard your voice and I believe you. I bet you sound angelic as hell. Bam. So that's how you do it. Now, please, let me shut my PS5 off. I'm not a fan of stuff hanging. By the way, y'all, let me tell you something real quick. I'm an older guy, right? I played the Onimusha games as a younger man as they were coming out. This game is going to be dope, bro. This game is so freaking dope. I swear to God, this is going to be great. The demo is sick. Onimusha is sick. I love it. Anywho, we're back. Very good, just going right by me. What you talking about? Well, you do have to have a good sound voice on high Tetra Alex Angel. Like, looks good. Looks good. It does look good, dude. Onimusha, and it plays very well too. It's very great. I was dying like crazy at the boss, Barney. Tell it how it is. Don't sit here and start spreading all these lies and fake news. But listen, when you go to route your microphone to your PS5, it's not automatically set up with this mix and everything else. So you have to do this. This is a very, very critical step. If you don't do this, you're going to get frustrated and I'm going to feel very sad. So again, you've got your mic channel. You add it into whatever you want. You have to create a new mix. I label it aux mix just to keep things simple. And in the aux mix, you need to set the audio output to be USB out. You do that and you're golden. You have your mic audio now simultaneously, as you heard, here on stream and on your PS5. So you can be chatting with your pals on Discord, and maybe you're playing a game with a huge party chat also on PS5. You can talk to everybody at the same time. Any questions so far and anything here? Sistovus, thanks for the follow, bro. Appreciate you so much. Thank you. Have you had a Go XLR? Yes, I used to have the Go XLR Mini. Since I'm moving to this now after ordering, wondering if it's going to be a blessing as it sounds. I was wondering how I would address a question like this. Great question. And what I mean by that is like, some of you I think are joining in later after the fact. So I am an Elgato partner. I got the Wave XLR for free. That comes with caveats, and I understand, what that potentially means. So I'm here more just to show you what this can do and how I use it. The Wave XLR Mini at its time, and just to go, the Go XLR Mini and the Go XLR at their time were phenomenal devices. I think when you take into consideration just unfortunate things that have happened there at TC Helicon, and then just where and how the Elgato ecosystem has grown and developed, yeah, it's going to be a blessing. You're going to love it. You're going to absolutely love it. And I think for me, the biggest differentiator between the Beacon ecosystem and or Beacon hardware and the TC Helicon hardware and the Elgato hardware are the ecosystems, right? Like someone here was saying earlier that for Beacon, you have to buy the studio, you have to buy the mix, create, or the mix and the microphones, etc. The Go XLRs are just pricey, right? And they're also unfortunately end of life now or getting there. Those devices that you get with them are very finite in what they can and cannot do, right? So the Beacon Mix Create can only help you adjust your volume levels, nothing more. The sliders on the Go XLR can only adjust levels. The pads can do other things, but with Elgato, you've got Wavelink, you've got the Stream Deck app, and you have Stream Deck. I have Stream Deck set up to basically, and it's nothing crazy. Like Nutty's like way cooler about this than I am, but I have it controlling my lights. I have it to take me directly to the folders I access the most, where I have footage, B-roll, pictures, etc. Like it's just such a daily workflow driver, and I can use it to control my volume levels and turn effects on or off in my mic chain, for example. So I hope that answered your question. If it did not answer your question, please let me know. I'll do a better job. I love my Go XLR, but the Elgato stuff has so many more features. Exactly. The hardware does, and faders were nice though. Kilobyte, thank you so much. Appreciate you very, very much. Thank you. Let's see here. Man, we need to have a talk about your YouTube's alerts. Man, the alerts are popping up here at the top, Barney. You got to understand, this was kind of like last minute put together. Okay, I'll put some production value into this, Barney. I swear to God, I have like B-roll that if I hit a button here, it was supposed to show up, right? I'm in the wrong scene for that. But if I go to the correct scene and I hit a button, like I've got B-roll for you. What other streamer's doing that, huh? Show you the different ports from all the footage I've recorded in the past, Barney. Give me a break. Call me a Kit Kat or send me a Kit Kat. All right, I lost track. Where are we at? I'm just playing, Barney. You're the best. Okay, let's see here. Pretty sure Go XLR barely made a profit though, hence why the dev team got. Yeah, that's so unfortunate, dude. Layoffs are never fun. Well, it's not God's. Good. Half the Go XLR team went to weekend. Make sure. Okay, man, videos not on stream. I know, but I can help you. But you do need some live stream guidance. I definitely do. Meow. Meow. Hello there. Meow. Oh, I see that. Barney, thank you, Barney. Now I see it here. I have to set up. I'm also using Meld, right? I haven't really set Meld up. All right, so we talked about PS5 setup. We talked about everything else. Guys, is there anything else I haven't covered? Like, do you feel right now that if you watch this again as you're opening up your Wave XLR Pro, you'd be able to set it up? Anaya Print, how's it going? Thank you for the help you've been giving. My absolute pleasure. Thank you. Barney, what do you want for $1, dude? What do you want me to do for $1? Careful how you answer that question here in chat, Barney. What do you want me to do? You want me to high five? That's why I just said thank you. I said thank you, Barney. Thank you so much. How's the quality on the mic? On this mic? I mean, I like this mic. You tell me. You're the audience. You tell me the quality if you think. I'm still impressed the Wave XLR doesn't need external power. That's a really good point, dude. You're absolutely right, because when I had the Rodecaster Duo, understandably, it needed external power. Huh. About the 2PC setup and voice focus auto turned on. Oh, thank you, Barney. God dang it. You're the man. All right, guys, listen. And then gals, everybody, hear me out. When you also set this up and you connect your gaming PC via USB aux or your console via USB aux, sometimes voice focus, let me show you how I did that again. All right, you go to your channel. You can go to the FX icon over here. For some reason, my audio was like up and down in volume, swelling in and out. And I'm just like, what is going on, bro? Why are you doing this? And for some reason, voice focus was turned on by default. Go through your channels where you don't want voice focus to be on and just make sure that voice focus is off. That's it. Just check voice focus, make sure that it should only be on your microphone if you want that to happen. But yeah, anyways, I forgot. Let's talk about audio ducking. Let me turn my PS5 back on for that one. So did the full size, yeah, I mean, hands on sounds good. Which audio mixer? Okay, I think it sounds great. Heavy's also in here. Heavy, no more. Also phenomenal creator. You should definitely check him out and like follow his content. He's a really great guy. Check him out as well. Sorry, I don't know if you guys like me putting y'all on blast, but I can't help it, dude. I've been in management for like 11 plus years of my life. So like my career has been built upon building other people up. It's just a habit at this point. Okay, Heavy made a comment to me offline where like he felt that his Wave DX and his microphone audio sounded better with the same exact settings on Wave XLR Pro. I copied Wave XLR Mark II settings, basically my EQ and everything else. I copied all of those settings into Wave XLR Pro when I reset everything up. Same exact microphone, nothing different. Only thing different is Wave XLR Pro, and I think it just sounds better. So for me, it sounds great, in my opinion. Yeah, it took me 30 minutes to see that VF was on. Till then, my game sounded like. No, I feel your pain, Barney. That would drive me insane. All right, so let's talk about audio ducking, because this is actually a very, very new feature introduced here with Wave XLR and XLR Pro. Heavy is a legend. Absolutely, he is, dude. Absolute legend. All right, so you're streaming a game. You're streaming to the masses. You know, you're doing Mafia-thon 20, whatever the case may be. You're having a great time. And somebody was saying earlier how sometimes games like swell in volume, right? It's you're walking through a scene, you're exploring a map or something, whatever the case may be, and it's not too loud. But then you get into a fight or some combat, and the volume just skyrockets and it drowns you out. But you did a good job. You did what you were supposed to do. You went through and did all your audio checks beforehand, and from what you were hearing, everything sounded fine. Your voice was where it needed to be, and your game was where it needed to be. But then as you start playing, things get louder, and your voice and your commentary, which is very important to your content, starts to get drowned out. So this is where ducking comes into play. All right, so I have my PS5 channel. I'm going to hit the audio effect tab or icon over here, and we're going to go to ducking. We are going to mark, sorry, false. We go to our microphone channel. We go to the effects tab. We're going to go to ducking. We're going to mark our microphone as the Wave DX as the key channel. In doing so, you're basically telling Wavelink that anytime I speak into this microphone, all of the channels that I've selected down here are subject to ducking, which means that the volume will decrease when I speak and then go back up when I'm quiet. So I'm not using voice chat, so I don't care, but we'll just leave that as is. But you can notice here that my PS5 is not added here. So we're going to add it in and we're going to close. All right. You'll notice also that we have a different icon now in all of our channels here where they are active. Okay. This is the next layer of the integrated audio matrix. So layer number 1, the IO. Layer number 2, mixing and routing via Wavelink. Okay. Layer number 3 is dictating what audio goes where and what audio is subject to what effects. We saw that with the USB aux out and getting the microphone to the PS5. You can do the same thing for ducking. On my personal mix, it would not make sense for me to have ducking because that's what I hear. So when I speak into my microphone, I don't even have I have my mic muted here, but I don't need to worry about ducking because I'm not doing it for myself. I want to hear everything at full blast. On the stream, on the stream mix, however, you do want to have ducking, or you would want to have ducking if you plan on using it. So this icon being lit up tells you that ducking is active. But let's pretend that I don't want to duck my chat, my Discord chat, right? So we're going to go to the kebab right here, the 3 little dots, click it, and we're going to say, don't allow ducking here. Boom. Now, when I speak into this mic, if someone was on Discord chatting with me, that's not going to duck. It's going to stay at whatever level I set it to. And so forth and so on, right? So no ducking in personal mix, some ducking in stream mix, some ducking if I wanted to in recording mix, so forth and so on. You can dictate where ducking is implemented and executed. You can dictate what mix, you can dictate where your mix is sent audio to at a mix by mix basis. I can imagine you can set every mix to a separate OBS channel. Yes, if recorded footage, is the ducking in the recording in that specific channel affected? Yes. So for example, on my PS5 right now in the recording, I could show you, but I don't need to show this one, I don't believe. I think I can do this. Okay. If I opened up OBS, I have a stream mix channel in OBS for all my stream mix audio here. I can add in another one for recording mix, and it can be unducked or ducked audio. I get to pick. And then obviously you do the multi-channel recording for audio in OBS, and then I use DaVinci Resolve, so it would just either have to mute the channel I don't want to use or just record only the recording mix channel. But yeah, you can do that. All right, so let's see it in action. Let me head back over to here. Shazam. And okay. I need to go back over to this. You can kind of already hear it right there, right? Let's go to Pragmata, since that's the example I used on the video. Okay, very cool. Hey, brother, how are you? Rody, I'm doing great. How are you? I see you connected a wireless receiver, I believe, to the XLR Pro and the XLR2. The same using my DJI Mic Mini, but I got a crackling noise. Did you have any issues? I did not. Unfortunately, I'm sorry. I did not have any issues with that. But let me see something here. I think we're like, there we go. I think that's much better. That was way too high the gain. You guys have been patient with that. So as I'm playing Pragmata right now, you can already or should already hear the ducking happening. Can y'all confirm that, please? And I'm going to speak right now, and now all of a sudden the volume for the PS5 is dropping down. And it comes back up. Just like that. Right? So it's very, very effective. But wait, there's more. Let me switch back over here and go away from the stream mix. Okay. So in Wavelink, you're going to go to settings, and there's a ducking tab now dedicated to ducking. You can adjust the ducking settings individually. So ducking sensitivity, I have it set to high, but it gives you an explanation, right? Low means ducking is only activated when I'm shouting. I don't shout. So medium or high sounds great, right? High means ducking starts even for low noises that I never want to miss in a mix. The ducking amount, so low means that the sound of the channel will be lowered by a little. High means that the sound of the channel will be lowered by a lot. For this one, I think I'd actually want to go with medium because I'm not trying to kill my PS5 audio altogether when I speak, right? And then ducking speed, this is one where I'd love for them to do a slider here. Because high, medium, fast or high, medium, low is like, that doesn't give me a great idea. And I've shared this with them, but yeah, I'd love to see this have a little bit more control, but you can at least control your ducking with these three elements with 3 different settings each right now. All right, let's see here. Only problem I have with Wavelink 3 is that the legacy kernel caller driver prevents my PC from sleeping. Stop 1 second. Stop 1 second. Wait a minute. I have been having a problem with my computer not going to sleep. I'll put it to sleep and then it wakes right back up. I'll put it to sleep, it wakes back up again. I'll put it to sleep, it wakes back up again. Are you telling me that's the issue? You may have just made me very happy. Okay. Hey, brother, are you... Oh, yeah, sorry. So, Rody Bro Gamer, I didn't have any issues with that. I would check the cable. How are you connecting your DJI? You said through the Wave XLR second XLR port. Just check the cable. That's typically the same exact culprit right there. The typical culprit, sorry. Do you think I'm wasting money if I get my Wave XLR Pro if I don't have a computer? I'm like switching microphone once a month. I'm disabled. It's hard for me to switch microphones. Yeah, I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't do that. I would... No, because like you're going to miss out on a lot of the benefits and features that Wave XLR can deliver, but requires you to have it connected to a PC. So, sorry to hear that, but no, definitely don't do that, please. Well, don't let me tell you what to do, but I wouldn't recommend that. You know, use that money to buy some games or something else or whatever makes you happy, right? Or something that'll actually functionally serve you, but not right now. Now, if you get a PC, then maybe. And even then, like, it just depends, right? And that's kind of a question we'll hit here in just a minute. That's great. Yeah, I don't know why I had that, but it looks like I may need the Wave XLR. Oh, dude, I think that's what this is. So I have like this is from Rode, the like male XLR, female 3.5. This is from Rode. This is their adapter. So that's probably why I don't have any like static or crackling when I used it. If you get this, then you should not have any issues because it's the same exact one I use, and I think it is the Rode VXLR. I have mine set to low, slow, but I agree. A slider, dude, slider would be so great. We're gonna have to let them know. Yeah, I'm connecting the same adapter. You have it, and a 3.5 cable as well. Same way. Okay. It worked on line in, but you lose the DSP effects. Yeah, and line in also, it sounded weaker. So like when the line out port I tried to use to connect it to my camera so I could get my mic audio directly into my camera, recorded straight to an SD card. And it was just a whole bunch of noise, whole bunch of distortion. It was really bad and not usable. I bought a mic attenuator cable. It solved like 99% of the issue. I know that if I add in a ground loop isolator, it'll solve the rest, but I didn't want to add that into the content because I was like, realistically, how many people are going to want to actually buy additional cables for things? But then I tried line in port for the Hollyland Lark. I can't say that word, for the Lark M2, and yeah, it sounded so weak. But when you're able to connect it to the XLR port, it sounds so much better. I have a Mac Studio and for Macs, but I have the XLR Mark II dock, but I like to use the microphone once a month. Yeah, I think with the XLR Mark II, you know, like I think you're probably golden for now. You're correct, it's weaker. Yes. All right. Somebody refresh my memory here. Actually, no, dude. I have a dock. I'm such a scrub. I made an outline dock to make sure I covered everything. Let me open that up real quick. I was so excited to start this stream that I totally forgot to even pull up my outline. Okay. Full setup. We showed all the steps. Yeah, I think we're good. I think we're how to know if USB-C cable from PS5 Pro. That's actually a good question. I have amassed a massive collection of USB cables of all types. I've just been using them. For connecting the PS5 Pro to the Wave XLR Pro, I used USB-C to USB-A. So the USB-A connects at the back of the PS5, USB to the Wave XLR Pro. I want to say I used an old USB-A to USB-C cable. I think that was for the Wave 3. I think that's what I ended up using. If anybody knows better than I do on that one, please feel free to chime in. But I think just about any USB-A to C would work. It doesn't have to be super special. Something I really like about the new Pro is the mix maximizer feature. You can set everything up so you don't clip and then use that to boost the mix so it's louder. Dude, that's actually an excellent point. AJ, would that be primarily for like microphone channels or anything? Well, anything, right? But what he's talking about, I'm so glad you said that. I actually haven't really used this. Is it here? We'll go to mix. Let me show you guys. Sorry. Over there. Display. There we go. Okay. Yes. Okay, cool. So you go to your mix, you go to the blue pencil, and you have a mix settings tab over here. So what he's talking about is if you activate this, it increases the loudness of signal density while preventing clipping. And what AJ specifically and literally just said is that it allows you to put out a louder volume without clipping. Let's see what that sounds like. I actually haven't done this yet. 3, 2, 1. We're going to go ahead and do a 10% improvement there, or increase. So this is 10%. This is 20%. 35%. 50%. Now we're getting into ASMR territory. 100%. If I turn this any higher, you're going to be able to hear the darkest, deepest thoughts within my soul. But we're going to go back down to... Actually, I like it at 10. I think 10's a... we'll leave it at 13. Maybe if I had this on at the beginning of the stream, everybody would have heard me better back then. My mic, there it is. It's EJ. EJ, thank you. I hope this is satisfactory now. Good feature to use if your audience says the stream is quiet. Boy, let me tell you, that's exactly what they said within seconds of me going live. All right, very cool. That was great. Okay, so next up, as we start to wind things down, I pulled 6 questions from comments, right, that I got. These are a lot of... These questions represent some very frequently asked questions, and then I'll open up to just Q&A, and then we'll wrap it all up. So let's start with number 1. Will I still need a cloud lifter? No, not at all. You can not buy one. You can sell it if you have one. You can keep it if you have one. You don't need it. This thing can drive 80 decibels of gain in whatchamacallit, across the XLR inputs. So it is no longer necessary. If you like it, and if you like what it does to your audio and how it sounds, by all means, keep it, but you don't need to have it. Let me do something real quick here and drop this down just a little bit. There we go. All right. So question number 1. So I have the new Wave XLR. Should I get this or just stay with what I have? Listen, it really depends on your use case, right? How much audio gear do you have that you would want to ideally connect to one device? Because I think I'm not impervious to like FOMO, and somebody said gas a long time ago, gear acquisition syndrome. Like, I am so guilty of that. You just got to assess what you're doing. Why are you doing it? What are your goals? Why do you want to have all this audio in one device? And if it makes sense for you, to just get it. If you're happy with what you have right now, maybe not. But if you watch reviews, if you watch like a stream like this one, and we've gone over a lot of the features that are unique to Wave XLR Pro, and you feel like it would be beneficial, and at the very least it just adds value to what your content is, then you can also go for it. I bet this sounds loud as fuck for you, but for us it's just a good level. Dude, it sounds concerningly loud for me, but if you guys are happy, I'm good. I can just press this button and not monitor myself anymore. IMO, the worst part of the Wave XLR Pro is bugginess with Wavelink 3.3, but they update it at least once a month, so it's not too much of an issue. Went from Gen 1 Wave XLR to Rodecaster Duo to XLR Pro. I think they've gotten a lot better with like rolling out updates and just keep things stable. Someone asked that recently earlier in a stream. I just haven't. And when I say that I haven't had as many crashes, like, I don't want that to come across as me saying like, it never crashed for me, so it's not a problem that exists. Like, you know, I'm on X, I'm on Reddit, I see it all the time. Like, it sucks. But they are actively always working on things, so gotta give them credit for that. Question number 2. How would this work with an Elgato capture card in SteelSeries Arctis Nova Pro wireless? Would I plug the Wave Pro into the DAC or the PS5? I don't know why. I almost feel like it's a meme. I had so many questions asking about wireless headset connectivity with Wave XLR Pro. If you have something with a DAC like this Nova wireless headset, you would still connect your headset to your PC. And then in Wavelink, all you simply do is go here to the top right corner and select that headset as your output device. And that's it. Nothing else, nothing more. I can't think of a reason, and maybe I'm just missing it completely, but I can't think of a reason why you would connect. Would I plug the Wave Pro? Why you would connect the Wave Pro into the DAC? It doesn't crash for me. Right now I'm using wireless through the line out port and voice meter banana. It's a bit of a hassle, I can imagine. No, yeah, I have a pair of Alienware wireless headsets. They're really, really good. Sure, they're hanging up top. You just can't see them anymore. But the USB dongle just connects to my PC, and then I can just set that as the output in Wavelink. That's it. It's the simplest, I think, approach there. All right, question number 3. Might be a crazy question, but would it be possible to do a streaming PC, gaming PC, PS5 all at the same time so you don't have to switch out anything? Yes, yes, you can. Right, so your streaming PC gets connected via USB host. Your gaming PC, your console, your PS5 gets connected via USB aux, and your gaming PC gets connected via line in. And on the gaming PC, you have a 3.5 cable coming out of the line out into line in on the Wave XLR Pro. Okay, so still Series Pro wireless. I connected the USB to my PC 3.5. Hell yeah, dude. Love that. That's awesome, dude. Question number 4. And still no sliders for individual volume control. Go XLR still relevant in 2026. Hey, listen, Go XLR I think will be relevant so long as anybody has a use for it and enjoys using it. I covered this earlier, but really, I can't fault someone for wanting sliders and controls on the actual device itself. I think when you just consider that, again, Elgato has Stream Deck, and Stream Deck is basically damn near every content creator's desk. The control's already there. It's just separated. And I think personally, this is so much better that way. It's so much better because Stream Deck can do so much more. We already covered this earlier. I don't want to like go back over it again, but it's a matter of preference, right? Like nothing wrong with wanting sliders, faders, knobs on your actual device itself. If that's what you like, then that's what you like, and that's okay. That's how I used to do it when I go to XLR, so it would work on the same on the Wave XLR Pro. Hell yeah. All right, question number 5. I have a dual PC setup, reason to look into XLR Pro, but I don't own an XLR mic. Any way to use my headset stereo mic jack? No. I tried that right before the stream about a couple hours ago, and I couldn't get it to work because the headphones and those ports don't register as inputs. They're only registered as outputs. So even though those cables are TRRS for the microphone, it didn't work for me. I just had an idea. I'll try this later. But I feel like maybe in the Windows settings, if it still recognizes it as a headset that's connected, even though it's connected to the Wave XLR Pro, I'll toy around with that. I just had an idea that might work. People forget that it decreased. Yes, it would. Having faders and buttons and everything else on Wave XLR Pro would 1,000% drive the price up by quite a bit, right? So I can't find 2 of my Stream Deck Plus screws to put the base back on. Grr. Barney, you have like 75 Stream Decks in your setup. Take 1 screw from one screw from a different one, and use those 2. There's no way. Hardware focus, what you buy is what you get. Software focus gets better over time with, yes, exactly. And question number 6. How does this device compare to Beacon Studio? I worked with Beacon on like reviewing the Beacon Studio when it came out. This was about a year, 6 months before I became an Elgato partner, I believe. And I'll tell you this, I would say, and not in like any insulting manner whatsoever, but like physically, meaning IO, I think it's like 25% of what the XLR Pro is. 1 XLR port. You can do the 2 PC setup, 2 PC and console setup there, connections. And of course, similar, ecosystem with their app and their controller. But for starters, EJ is on point there. Like I did have a lot more issues with the Beacon Studio, with the Beacon app. And this is, again, not to be disrespectful, right, to anybody. But they just don't have, like, Elgato wins it in ecosystem for me, right? Like good hardware, great hardware. I like it. I get everything I need out of it, but it's the ecosystem, y'all. That is just that there is no There's no one is doing that any better right now. Period. Like period. Period. All right, y'all. Whew. Hour and 40 minutes. That's actually pretty good. I've had a great time. I hope y'all have had a great time too. Your turn. Any other questions that you might have to ask? It's now officially, we're in our Q&A session, so please ask away. I'm gonna go get water. I am dying in here right now. I'll be right back. And then we'll answer some questions and we'll call it a night. Okay, I'm back. What's up, y'all? Thank you for that one. Let's go back over here. All right, so let's see. Barney, if you can, you're not like you're my mod. You're my volunteer mod. You're amazing. Okay, let's see here. Any questions you guys have, go ahead and pop them in chat, and we're going to start going down the list here. Look at Sparta Corsair, so they have a much bigger team for updates and hotfixes. Yes, very true. Beacon will be much lower to get things done. Yeah. And that's to no fault of their own. I've had direct interactions with like the CEO of Beacon. Like everybody I've spoken to on the Beacon side, Elgato side, almost every brand I've ever spoken to have been incredibly kind and professional people. So never have anything bad to say about anybody out there. All right, Gripped, first time chatter. Welcome aboard, pal. Thanks for hopping in. So tell me what's going on. My gaming PC will not recognize or show the Wave XLR even on it. I tried different cables and ports. Is this for Wave XLR or Wave XLR Pro? Hey, Barney found a screw. Good job, Barney. Hell yeah. I would make sure, actually, regardless of what Wave XLR device it is, this might be a pain in the ass, so pardon that, but I would probably make sure that the Wavelink driver is up to date. I feel like that might be a point of contention there. Sometimes when I've had that issue, not your specific issue, but like an issue with connectivity, I've uninstalled Wavelink cleanly 100% and reinstalled it to make sure I got the new driver, and that typically solved any issue I was having at the time. That hasn't happened in a minute, but it has happened in the past. That might be something to consider. But if you can tell me a little more, we can come back to that. Tovus, let's assume you had Stream Deck Plus and not the XL. Would you miss? Absolutely. Absolutely. I would 1,000. Not only would I miss the two knobs, screw the two knobs, I would miss the extra keys. Oh my God. I would 1,000% miss the keys more than the extra two knobs, but I would miss the extra two knobs. Went with XL on the order just in case not to regret. No, dude, the XL is phenomenal. It is perfect. It has the perfect amount of keys. It's got the perfect amount of knobs. I love it, dude. It's so great. Old Jameson, how do you have your Stream Deck Plus style set up with Wavelink? I'll show you. Let me show you right now. I don't do I have a Wavelink profile? Let's see. Let's see. You guys should be able to see that. Okay, so this was like a profile I made for a video, but don't even bother.
Hello
Let's go to
there.
my mail profile, which is what I'm using right now. Gripped with the follow. Thank you so much, dude. Thank you very much. Appreciate you. So I have a video on this exact sort of topic. Somewhat. Let's go here. I'll show you real quick what that video is. I'll add the link in the channel. I mean, whatever, in chat, what have you. And you can go check it out. But this video right here, why you're using your Stream Deck wrong. How dare you? And how dare I make such a baseless assumption? Okay, so I compartmentalize everything when it comes to my Stream Deck. Like everything has a role, a specific role or a specific function. And what I mean by that is like, if you go to my home profile, columns are functions, right? So like these are just random functions. This is audio. This is adding audio to channels. This is all Elgato, content creation, browsing, etc., reporting, browsing, so forth and so on. Okay. In Meld, on my Meld profile, and this is the same exact thing that I do for OBS, the first three knobs are your audio, right? Because my prioritization happens from left to right, just like how we read. This is probably way too extra, guys, but like this is just how I think. Okay, so priority for me is your audio. So I have system audio for PC and Windows. I have a dial stack here for my game audio. So this will have PS5 from Wave XLR Pro and also PC game audio. And what happens is if I click on the button on the dial itself, click it in, it changes it to PC game. If I click it in again, it changes it back to PS5. And then the last dial is also a dial stack where I have my music and my browser. Same exact thing. Click it, it changes it, right? Bam. That's it. I hope that answers your question, but I can definitely do a video on that if that's something that you guys would be interested in. I really wish I could use keyboard volume controls to change the monitor mix. Now I will only change the volume. I really wish I could use keyboard volume controls. That would be cool. I mean, you could get the Galleon keyboard from Corsair with the built-in Stream Deck and dials to do that. It's really pricey. I almost bought one this weekend, but I was like, I can't do it. Can't do it. Which microphone you like more? The Wave 3 Mark II. Oh, Jesus, that's so hard. That is a difficult question. I like the Wave 3 Mark II more. I like how my voice sounds better on a condenser microphone, and it makes sense because condenser microphones are much more sensitive and capture a lot more detail. Condenser, Wave 3 Mark II. I like that more. The Pro. I reach out support. They think it might be the hardware. Oh, that sucks, dude. I hope they can get you set up soon. Michael Lee, thank you for the follow. Real quick, everybody here who doesn't like follow me around in places, I'm gonna drop my links to my socials, my socials in chat, and then I got a couple more links to share with y'all. Anywho, it's host PC, stream PC. I might try that. Numerous pages you can run just makes it. Yes, thank you, Tobis, for the follow. Which microphone do you like more, Wave 3 or Mic DX? Yeah, I'm a huge Wave 3 Mark II. I have my keyboard dial set up for my speakers, and then I use my stream to change the headphone volume. All right, question: when you go back to Rode Audio Mixer, I don't think I would. I can't go back to Rode. Rode doesn't like. Rode's great quality. We're not going to pretend like they're not. But their ecosystem is not only several pay grades above what I would want to spend on something like this now, but everything that I need in an ecosystem and in hardware and in software, Elgato already delivers for me. So like, I don't see myself leaving that. And like, let's just pretend tomorrow morning I get a contract termination with Elgato and they're like, sorry, dude, we're done for XYZ reasons. I still wouldn't depart from this ecosystem. Oh, Wavelink 300 profiles and saves like right away. Yes. Yes, they do. Like backing up your profile. Yes, I'd love that. Wave 3 ammo is better. Sounding mic in general. Condensers. Man, see my boy AJ knows what's up. That's right. But the Wave DX will sound better suited for less than perfect rooms like mine. Off topic, best monitor arms, especially for two set up vertically on top of each other. I don't have that kind of a setup. That's stupid. I do. Watch. I do. I literally have this right here. So this is a deceiving picture because my 4K OLED is on one arm and the 29-inch 1080 ultra wide is on a separate arm. But the 4K OLED is on a Huanuo, Huanuo Titan lift arm. It's one of the best monitor arms I've ever used. It's so good. It's the only arm out of the several I own that I trusted to put my very pricey 4K 32-inch OLED monitor. The monitor holding, the arm holding the 29-inch ultra wide at top is some, I think it's the Aries Wing or some Wally, some Amazon brand, nothing crazy. It's not an expensive monitor, so I wasn't too worried about protecting it. But I would definitely check out Huanuo for their arms. They make really solid arms, and their connection, God, I hate having to screw the VESA plate onto the arm. And I don't know, I can't even explain it, but the way that the Huanuo arm works, at least the Titan lift, you screw the plate onto the back of the monitor and you just slide it onto the arm and it's done. I love it. Thank you everybody for the follow. You have been amazing so far. Thank you for the follow on Twitch's and on YouTube's. I left my Rodecaster Duo for the XLR Pro. The March update completely broke VC. Oof, that sucks. How much is the Rodecaster Duo where you are? It's about 400 to 450 here. Here right now, AJ, I think it's like 500 plus US dollars. Let's find out. Yeah, 500 bucks for the Rodecaster Duo, which is very, very expensive. Yeah, I did it once in a long time ago. I could never do that again. Huanuo Titan Lift Heavy Duty Arm. That's the one. That's the one. That is such a great arm. It is so freaking good, dude. I've put my 32-inch 4K OLED when I had the Alienware 34-inch ultra wide OLED, like every expensive arm I've ever owned in 1 year, because that's when I started buying expensive monitors. God, don't get me started on that. That's such a mistake, but it's so beautiful too. OLED is the worst. I'm going to say that right now. OLED is the worst. I hate OLED so much because it's so beautiful. It's so beautiful. Then like you can't go back to anything cheaper or worse. See, like I can't go to IPS. I can't go to, definitely can't go to VA. I can't do it. I tried. And it's like that Thanos meme. It's like you tried, but it ultimately, it just brought you right back to me. Yeah. But every expensive monitor I've had, I've put on this arm and it's been fantastic. I trust it. Dude, I've been using StreamDeck Plus XL and XLR Mark II dock together from April 29th to 3rd. It's been working 100%. Hell yeah, that's awesome, dude. Secret Lab arms do the same thing. That's so great. I want that to be standardized. I want that slide on to be standardized. Way better. Yes. I love my edifiers. I'm not like an audio snob at all, so I can't give you technical details about the Edifier R1280T. I try to keep things simple. I try to apply this in content. That's why I don't really go into like too much tech specs of like mics and shit like that, because for me, like I'm just a normal person just using this stuff. So for me, it's just good enough to hear it sounds good or it sounds bad. I love these little speakers, dude. For 120 bucks, I would have easily paid 300 for how great these things sound. And I'm not embellishing. I'm not like blowing smoke up y'all's, you know what, when I say this. These things sound so much more powerful connected to the Wave XLR Pro. It's crazy. It's crazy. Like when I would have it set to 50% volume connected to my PC, I can't have it at 50% volume now because it's too loud. It packs a punch. It's great speakers. Love them. I have microphone fever. Oh my God, I went through that phase. Ask Barney. Barney, are you still in chat? Tell chat about my microphone habits back in the day. Elgato saved me. I literally had, I think there was a point in time where I think I had like 12 microphones at one point. Like, why? It's so stupid. Look, see, all caps, dude. Barney knows what's up. All right. Which microphone should I buy next? I have the DX and the Rode mic. Well, if you don't have the Wave 3 or Wave 3 Mark II, 1000% recommend that. I don't know. He changed mics like women change shoes. Watching account, that's going to be the Edifier 1280 R1280T. Yeah, I'll link it here in just a second. I hope Amazon works for you. It is not an Amazon commission link. There you go. I still own about 6 mics. I have 3 Wave 3s of black and white of the OG and the Wave 3 Mark II and then the Wave DX now. That's me. I love changing microphones once a month. I went through that same exact phase. I know exactly how you feel. That's so funny. Finally, someone else to validate my microphone obsession back in the day. Oh, yeah. Sorry, guys. This would be really dumb of me to do. Any event that you guys have not picked up your Wave XLR Pro, I'm going to drop my my partner link in chat. You don't have to use it. Please don't feel obligated to do so. If you do, though, I want you to know that I will get a % of that sale as commission to me. And that'll obviously support the channel and me, but only if you want to. You don't have to. And that link is also in the description of my review and the guide I have on YouTube. And it'll be on the description for this stream on YouTube. So you don't have to use it now. You can come back in the future. And then my partner code right here. Feel free to use that code whenever you check out elgato.com, be it now, tomorrow, a year from now, and you'll get 5% off. Only if I streamed 2 hours ago. No worries, man. I'm just glad that you got it, and I've hopefully been able to help you out, at least understand what you're getting yourself into and make you feel more confident about what you just got. Because that's my... So why... Okay. I like the music. So... this is why I started doing this. All right. I started YouTube and Twitch in 2014 to be a gamer. That was a colossal failure, just FYI. But at the time, I was a GameStop store manager, and I would have people walking into my store all the time, like asking, like, "Oh, dude, I want to buy the Astro headsets, the Astro 840s, the Astro 850s, this and that." Spending these crazy amounts of money on headsets that were not that great to begin with. And so when I pivoted from gaming to doing gear reviews, actually I pivoted into headset reviews. The goal was simple. I just wanted to give people information so that they could make informed purchases, right? And that's still kind of the goal today. I just want to give people information. I want to show you how you use the thing, how it makes sense or not at all for me, and then let you decide. So hopefully that's what happened here today. I want to get the SM7B, I think it's called. I like that microphone. Can I make a recommendation, Anaya? If you're going to get the SM7B, skip the SM7B and get the Earthworks Ethos. Same price, much better microphone. Like much better microphone than the SM7B. Oh, dude, thank you so much, Sess. I appreciate that. I've been fortunate enough to do this for a minute and retail for a long time. Thank God, not anymore. But that kind of made me comfortable with talking about products and also my career now. It's just I do a lot of talking. Bone Dragon, facts on Earthworks. Facts on Earthworks. Facts on Earthworks. SM7V is great. Earthworks Ethos, like, eats its lunch, steals its lunch money, beats it up for fun. It is so much better. The RE320, I never used that. Now you're making me want to buy more mics. Anywho, What time is it, dude? Oh, it's only 10. Very cool. Any other questions, y'all, before I log off for the night? This has been very, 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 very fun. Barney, are you able to do a poll as a mod? 4 a.m. Oh, dude, I'm honored. I'm honored, bro. Thank you so much. That's crazy. On Twitch only. Okay. Let me try and pop one up here. Can I do a mod? Okay, here's what we're going to do. Barney, I need you to set up a poll for Twitch, please, if you don't mind. Thank you so much. For Twitch. The question is just simple. Rate this stream as far as like value, right? Like we may have had a fun time. Haha, that's great. But like value, did you get value? Yes or no? 1 through 10. 10 being I got the most value I could ever get out of a stream, and 0 is quit now, sell your stuff, and never do this again. And then my YouTube peeps, just give me a rating, like 1 through 10 on the same principle, like value wise, did you get value out of this? Because I think I'm going to do this again, but with different stuff in the future, once a week. And this would be very helpful in identifying if that's the case. All right, see here. Send me the link in my email. 9.5 out of 10 since you scared me about hating OLED. It's too good. It's too good. It's too good. I got the Odyssey G8 by Samsung. It was on sale at Best Buy for $800, and it's typically like $1,300, I think it is. So good. It's so freaking beautiful. What do you call the left side of Wavelink through channels? Those are channels, Barney. Old Jameson, thank you for the follow, by the way, too. Those are channels, Barney. I feel like you're setting me up for a joke here or something. 9.5 out of 10 from Tovis. Thank you so much, pal. Because I scared you about OLED. Listen, if y'all haven't followed, do so now. If not, just keep an eye out. I'll be back. I get my items because of you. I was Rode Audio. We saw over now Elgato from December 1st, 2025. Welcome to the family. Never had 32-inch. Oh. Actually, Tovis, so I did a video on like downgrading my entire setup because I had that 34-inch ultra wide OLED from Alienware. Downsized, got a 32-inch IPS 4K display. Freaking love it. Size-wise, okay? It is perfect for gaming, perfect for editing, perfect for day-to-day use. I gotta stop saying perfect, but it suits my criteria perfectly. Ultra wide is beautiful in the width of it all, but the height is just not ideal for me. But before I went to this 4K 32-inch OLED, I actually ended up getting one of the newer Gen 27-inch 1440p OLEDs from Asus. Phenomenal monitor, nothing bad, just too small. And then I returned it, and with that money, I got the Odyssey G8 32-inch 4K, and I can never go. At 32 inches is just perfect. This has been fun. I'm always, oh, dude, AJ, thank you so much for stopping by, bro. I hope you get some rest, and I hope you have a wonderful day, big dog. You take it easy. What is the Twitch link for? Oh, for my channel or for? Sorry, I'm confused. I'm easily confused. Apparently, we're gonna skip all that. We're gonna go over here and go to socials. It should add in that. I'm missing chat because I'm flapping my gums too much. Barney, thanks for keeping me in line. Awesome. Do you see my comment on Twitch? I see. Yeah, what do you call the left side? You just spammed that, Barney, like 5,000 times. What do you call the left side of the wave? By the way, Barney, I am so sorry. Y'all, everybody here needs to also check out my boy Barney. Barney's a phenomenal streamer, hilarious, has an epic setup. I don't even know how or what he does. I don't get confused with much stuff in life. That setup confuses me. And it also kind of intimidates me. But he has an epic setup. Yeah. Their comment on Twitch. Wavelink 3.0 uses 12 channels. Yes. You get those additional 4 from the XLR Pro. Great call. Awesome. Anyways, quick little moment here just before I call it a night. Again, this is something that you guys would want to see more of. Once a week stream, hour or two, we talk about a specific part of specific piece of gear, a specific aspect of putting a setup together, something like that. But let me know if this is something y'all interested in. Yes, from Tovis. Awesome. I will never insult OLEDs again, I promise. And then we'll go from there.
Hello there.
Thank you, Bone Dragon. I appreciate you for the follow. Hell yeah. Welcome aboard. Anyways, I have to be awake at 5:45 in the morning for work. Well, to get ready. Should I mention the interest joke? Barney, you know you want to. I know you want to. I'm not going to restrain you. But I will say, y'all have a wonderful night. Thank y'all so much. This was a blast. I've had more fun doing this than playing any game here on with people. So we're definitely going to do this again. I'll give y'all an idea as to what that will be. Follow, just checking on X. I do a lot of posting there. And then on YouTube, I also do used to post from time to time. Y'all have a great night. Thank you for once again. This was great. Have a great night. Y'all take care of yourselves. Be good to one another. Be good to yourselves. Be good to one another. Peace out.